Hello. Matt back with episode 2 of the EA Guingamp series, where we're going to be using the Moncheat model uh, to to aid our recruitment and to see how well we do. The main aim of this series is to become the top of the French pyramid, and we also want to be the first French team since Marseille in the 90s to win a European trophy. That is going to be very hard because obviously PSG are ridiculous on this game, so overtaking them in the first place will be hard. Becoming the best team in France will be hard, and they're more than likely going to win a European trophy first. But we'll see how it goes. That's the aim. You might have been having a little look while I was waffling there. You can see the table. We are fourth in the league, which would dictate that it's gone quite well. That is not necessarily true. We've gone all the way through to the 3rd of January. I'm just going to show you the schedule from how we've been getting on. We started off like a house on fire. We didn't lose a game until the 24th of October there against Dunkirk. We were 2-1 up, I believe. I should 2-1 up. We were 1-0 up. And then Alexis Romero got sent off, and then Mbaye got sent off a couple of minutes later, and it just fell apart. And you can see they scored quite late on after that. And then we went on this horrendous run. It was no wins in 8, I believe. And then since then, it's picked up again. We had a few injuries in that time. Obviously, we had red cards galore. Look, there's another one. Palon was sent off. Um, an injury to Florian Miguel and another red card. Uh, Game after that, we were just crap. And then the game after that, again, we had a couple of injuries. People have managed to come back into the team, but there has been some transfers in and out. So I'm just going to show you these quickly. The transfers in mainly been loan signings or free transfers. As I said in the first episode, we're not going to be able to bring many people in because we're trying to do this Monchi method, which is where you identify them over a long period of time. But I did identify some gaps in the first episodes. The first of them being up front. So we brought this guy in, Leandro Cardozo. He was brought in purely as backup. He's literally done nothing. He's not scored a goal. He's not got an assist. He doesn't play much. And we also brought in Owen Otasoe from Wolves, 19-year-old American centre half. He's very quick. You can see 15 acceleration and 15 pace. 6'4" as well. He's good in the air. He's a proper ball playing defender. He sort of plugged that gap at centre back where we identified that we weren't very quick. We identified that we needed somebody who was decent to play there. He could probably play League on football, so if we do go up, I'm keen to bring him back. You can see there he scored 6 goals, including 4 goals in his last 5 games. He actually scored a hat-trick in this game against Pau, just off corners, because he's so big and his jumping reach is so good, he just gets to everything. Who else we brought in? We also brought in Florian Miguel, Marvin Nando, Lubomir Satka, and Mandy. The players going out then, apart from the loan deals, which you see like Phaeton and Heidi Camera, Siku Niakite, he was kicking up a massive fuss. He didn't want to be here. He was a very good player. He actually started the season quite well. But because the club's not got a lot of money, we've got like 8 million in the bank. The board basically said we'll accept any offers of 1 million and above. Fulham jumped on it. I did manage to get a 30% sell-on clause included in that. But again, it wasn't really ideal. We did actually bid to bring him back on loan, but he didn't want it. You can see he's made one appearance in the Carabao. So he went out. We lost another player, which was it was awful. This Pedro Robocho, he went to Lille for 750k, and again, it was a player. Lille said they fancied him, and he kicked off. And again, the board just accepted the offer before I could even do anything about it. He's made 10 appearances for Lille, which shows Lille are a good team. I think the Europa League team on this game. Yeah, Europa League. So he's a starting left back for the Europa League team when he was playing for me, and he started the season on fire for me. I think he got 6 assists in the first sort of 7 or 8 games. He got 4 assists he got 4 assists in 5 games. Okay, but yeah, he's just a brilliant player. I was so gutted to lose him. So we needed to turn around quickly. a couple of players to bring in, and this was where we sort of partly used the quote Monchi method again. This is the way it's been done and implemented on the save. Again, it's not my doing. It's Matthew Lewis again. His link is in the bio. Please read his stuff. His niche save is fantastic. He's got like a little community of people talking about their saves. But he basically said so the pillars of the Monchi method are to identify the player that you need, and sort of scout them over a long period of time rather than just sort of knee jerk and jumping into it. It's it's picking these talents out and drilling down into them to find out the right people that you need, and it's supposed to remove the luck factor of it. So that's what we've done. So the three pillars are planning, direction, and teamwork. The club's plan is to bring players under the age of 23 ready for the first team. My plan is to get out of League 2 as soon as possible to get the money up. The direction we want to go in, we only want to go up. It's all we want to do. There's no. We don't want to stagnate. We don't want to have that. We just want to improve and improve quickly. And then teamwork is like the third basic pillar. So we need people who are going to work hard for the team. You saw it in the first episode with the tactic. It was suggested that we're a very hard-working team, and that has actually helped really well. We're really aggressive. We're on the front foot, and we play attacking football. So they're the type of players that we need to bring in. And then we need to sort of to track these players over a long period of time. What I did is I sent my scouts out. You can see Juan Pablo Angel and Gerardo Torrado, legends of the game. We sent them out for 6 months at the start of the season each. Juan Pablo Angel came in quite late, so we've sent him out for another 3 months from now. And what we want to do is, obviously, we're not going to be able to get players from massive high reputation leagues because this game is all about reputation. If we click on League 2, we need to find players from teams that are either lower than us, or a little bit higher, or within the same remit as what we are. So we sent the scouts out, one to League 2 and below in France, sent one guy out to Slovakia, one guy out to Romania, and another guy out to Poland. And then one guy went out to second division in Spain. I think that was Juan Pablo Angel. And then we built sort of the scouting reports from there. You can see Eddie Mester. He has already been on for a little while. There's 2 weeks left on it. He's found a lot more players, but we do interested in transfer because there's no point in identifying these guys who don't want to come to us. These are all slightly interested. You can see he's found a lot of youngsters. There's an average age there. I think it's about 21, the average age of the players he's found. And then what we want to do is we want to basically grab all of these players and we want to add them to a shortlist. Normally, if you trust in the scouting process, you want to look at these guys who are 75 and above. So the shortlist is called 75 plus, but we don't have a massive pool of players to work with. There's 61 players on this shortlist. And if we were to just do 75 plus, we'd be missing out on quite a few 74s and below. So that's how you do it. And then, we did bring a director of football in. He's not the best, but the idea is your scouting pool, your director of football, they all then watch these guys and then they make the decision. That's essentially what happened with a couple of the signings. If we just jump into the tactics here to have a little look at who is the starter. This guy, Saka, he was found by the guy who's looking at Slovakians. So he's meant to be looking, because I've not got the Slovakian league loaded, he doesn't look at the Slovakian league, he just looks at Slovakia as a whole. So international games, under 18 games, national competitions, etc. He was actually playing over in Poland, so I got 2 scout reports on this guy, one from the guy looking at Slovakians and one looking at Polish. The reports were very good. Look at this. The cons, I don't want anyone who dreads big matches. I don't really like, someone dwelling on the ball or anything like that. But the pros for this guy, he's got the potential to be a League One defender, which, if we go up this season, that's great. We've got a ready-made centre-back there. And if we can bring Owen Otasowie back in, then, we've got 2 League One standard players there. He was a leading player for most League 2 sides. his ability to be in the right place at the right time. So his anticipation in his decisions and his off the ball are actually really, really good. So if we just jump back onto his profile there, anticipation 14, decisions 12, composure, concentration, position of 15, header mark and tackling of 14, and a jump and reach of 15. He's a very, very competent centre half. So we had a look at the two scout reports on him, and they were both saying, got to bring this guy in. We then asked the agent about his availability. He said it's great. Again, because it's like these three pillars, we needed to find out about this guy. And there's a lot of undetermined things on FM. There's a lot of hidden attributes. One way to look at that is obviously personality, which he's fairly professional. But media handling style gives you an indication of what this guy is like. He's media friendly and he's reserved, so he's not he's not going to come out and kick off about anything. If he does kick off, he's more likely to sort of just get over it if I have a word to them. So yeah, he was brought in for very cheap. I think it was about 825,000. It's saying as well he's only worth like 425. I think 425. If we go up because our reputation goes up, I guarantee he's going to be like £3 or £4 million player. So he was the first he was the guy who replaced Nikite, and then Florian Miguel. He was another one. I wouldn't say this one was knee jerk per se, but he had to be turned around a lot quicker because Robocho left on deadline day. So I literally had to just go through what I had in the scout reports first. His coach report, again, he's peripheral figure. They're saying 37, which is ridiculous when you look at his ability and potential. And you look at all these pros, he could be a league and left back. He's a leading player for league sides. You can see he's performing very well. He's not really losing possession at all either. During his big matches, he's really consistent. Stamina, he's very athletic, he's strong, and he's physical. I don't understand why they didn't rate him that well, but he was brought in for 325k. He's nowhere near the level that Robocho was. He's not going to be a Champions League left back. However, he has the potential to be a solid first choice left back for us for at least the next season or season and a half. And the only other signing we made so far was Mandy. Mandy was a free transfer after leaving ATK. He was playing over in New Zealand as well for a while, but he's basically just back up for Romeo. You can see he's exactly what we want on a ball winner. He's aggressive. He can read the game. He's got decent determination, but not great. He's actually got quite a bit of flair on him. And he plays short, simple passes, which literally his thing is to get the ball, pass it to a more skillful player, and then leave it at that. So he's coming. What we still now need, we definitely need a striker. Yannick Gomez has scored a few goals. He scored 3 in 16, literally a few. He scored 5 in all competitions. You can see he's not a very good striker. So that's going to be one of the positions that we're trying to identify in this episode. Potentially a left winger. We've got Brian Peller. You can see that the coach thinks he's a right winger, but Brian Peller's been playing out on the left, and he's having a very, very, very good season. Squad depth-wise, I think in midfield we're okay. We've got Firi, Romeo, Mchangama, Otasowi can play there if he needs to. Mandy, El Hadji Bar, who's still on a long-term injury, he'll come back, and he's probably not going to be around for long, but he's a decent enough player. Pierre-Eric Valdivida, his physical attributes just fell off a cliff, so I'd like to find a new sort of deep-lying playmaker. And I think that's all we've really got the money for at the minute. So we just jump back onto the scouting shortlist. So these are all the guys that my scouts have found. Positionally, we need a striker. Ronnie Rodeland doesn't even get a kick, but they're saying he's the best striker in the squad. He's not. He's really not a great striker. And then the scouting recommendations is the highest. So we've got a couple. We've got Nicolo Kudryk from Monaco. 3 determination. Off the ball. I mean, he's okay, but his determination's horrendous. And the thing is, I do like determination being one of the main things I look for, but it's so changeable on this game. I mean, if you bring someone like this into a determined squad, his determination can literally jump to like 12 within a year. What's his report saying? To be selfish, and he's not got very good determination, but he matches the philosophy, normal personality, which means he would be heavily influenced by the team. Fair amount of pace, and he would fit in. This is where we then ask the agents about his availability. He would like the occasional opportunity to come into the first team, and he had 1.8 grand a week, which is fine. That's nothing. We're paying people in excess of like 7-8 grand a week, and they had one somewhere between 475 and 800. I'm tempted to maybe just grab this guy on loan. Would they take Impact sub? They would. Yeah. We'll bring him in on loan, which means Cardozo can go. He's been awful. And then we need like an actual out and out striker. We do play pressing forwards because we're sort of backed into a corner of it. We've not really got anyone who can play advanced forward or anything. Daniel Labila, he's wanted by like Arsenal, Everton, Leeds, Monaco, Atalanta. If you look at his report though, there's far too many cons. He's not consistent. He's not intelligent. He's really selfish. He's just not worth it, despite having very good attributes. He'd be a free as well. Enjoys big matches. So everyone on this shortlist has already had 2 or 3 scout reports on them. So I'm not going to show you that process. But we need like a ready-made player to sort of come in and just play up front and just lead the line for us, really. There's a lot of decent youngsters. Even this guy, like, he's not going to set the world on fire. As I say, it's normally 75 plus, but then we wouldn't get these guys down here. So like Barkozak, who, if you don't remember, he used to play for Aston Villa. He's a very competent striker, it looks like. He's got very good mental attributes. He's definitely a target one. I think he's like 6'4". Strong, good in the air, normal and balanced. He would be able to adapt, enjoys big matches, consistent. He would be willing to join if there's certain promises, but he's injury prone, which isn't the end of the world because we can always basically drop his training workload. Crossing doesn't matter. Competitive streak, I don't mind that because we like being aggressive. And he needs to learn the language. He'd be a good deep line, I think. Shoots of power and does not move into channels, which doesn't help because we sort of play the. He's a free as well. Correa from Saint Etienne again, not great. And Charles Abbey, he looks good. He looks okay. He's Jimenez. He's wanted. Okay. He's resolute. His jumping reach is horrendous for someone who's 6 foot, but he looks decent. Reports are chatting. Doesn't have a great jump and reach, and he'd be a peripheral figure. However, that's if he's playing as a striker. He's still the best. He's resolute, natural in a few positions, which is good because we play a front three. He's really consistent, good amount of pace and technical. Ask his agent. Noteworthy player, that's fine. 7.75, that's fine. He's impressed with the ambition shown by myself. He's out of contract, so we could approach to sign, but I'm going to try and be cheeky and drop them like a little 40k. Well, after another 20 international appearances, I think he's Spanish, so he's never going to get them. Are they going to be daft? After 50 games, another 20k. But he's never going to get 20 cash for Spain, so we'll do that. And Charles Abbey, what is he chatting? Again, it's about intelligence and whatnot. Ascendi playing for Avranche in the league below. Very physical player. Hamza Abdallah, again, concentration's awful. Mamiri. Again, it's the mental attributes of these younger players that are putting me off. Is there anyone who's like an AMC who could potentially play as a striker? Like a shadow striker? Peller Amersfoort, there you go. He's apparently an AMC. I think he's more of a striker. What are they chatting for him? Dreads big matches. No, it's just not worth it. Big matches, you'd think of like games against like Man United, etc. You know, games like that. It could even just be like a game where you need a win. If you got to play it like that, he's just going to fold, so it's not worth it. Jibril Deeb, got decent traits as well. We've got Rodri from Real Betis reserves. Very technical player. Quite physical, but his mentals aren't great. But they will improve with age. What are they asking for him? Yeah, he's not very consistent either. But we do need a centre mid after this too. Jeremy Helmer looks decent. Inverted winger, 3.2 million though, and we just no, there you go. Look, so on the base of it, he looks really good, but then you look at this: dreads big matches, fairly susceptible, inconsistent, injury prone, poor intelligence, poor heading. It's just a big no-no. So you do need to pay attention to that. I know my scouts aren't the best, and in the Brentford save, we were sort of just ignoring things like that. But it will only get you so far in this game. We will be doing some table stuff in the summer, not in this episode, I'm afraid. He's a DLP. Again, it's just the physicals, man. We've got too many aging players who just don't seem to be able to perform as well anymore. Abdullah Bar looks decent. 1 leadership though and 5 composure, so that's a no. Fabio is a DLP playing for Las Palmas. Again, he's not the most physical, but he looks okay. Eduard Michu is the youngest looking player I've ever seen. Again, mentally not quite there. Marius Marin Pisa. There you go. Hello, Marius Marin. And he's asked to leave. Inconsistent with chances, so it doesn't matter because we might be looking to play him as a DLP. He's requested to leave. High work rate, spirited individual, big matches, consistent performer, and he's very committed. They're saying he's a box to box. It's a DLP on defend. He could probably perform that quite well. What's the agent saying? Between 625 and 925. So if we do between 625 and 925, and we offer 775 for Marius Marin. We've seen Van Amersfoort. Jesse Domingue is a very good player. He's playing for Cannes, who are top of the league, so I doubt he'll want to come to me, even though it says he is interested. Doesn't enjoy big matches, so that's a straight no. And I know it might seem I'm being a bit too picky with that, but it does play such a massive factor on this game. You wouldn't believe it. Sanchez is decent little player. Zielinski's the guy who's got no legs, isn't he? Yeah. Nagi. George Saville, no way, he's coming in. Any DMs that we could play a bit further up? There's Matthias Lefebvre. He's not bad, you know. Matthias, 725. Composure's not great, but he's consistent. He's clever. He'd slot in. Determined, committed player. He's playing at the league below at the minute, but he could be a League One player in the future. could be one just to bring in and train up. Let's just make the inquiry and see what Leon say. They're probably going to want daft money. There's not really anyone, is there, who would do the job, really? Is it DLP? I do this quite often as well, as I look at like fullbacks and wingers and see if they could perform in that position. Peripheral figure, competitive streak, poor technique, isn't great for a playmaker, really. He could probably play it though, if his technique was a bit better. Anyone on the right hand side? No, definitely not. Wing back, Hugo Montagna. Again, no. Looked at Cabello. Hmm. And then there's probably no CDM or centre backs we could push forward, is there? Oh, it's frustrating, man. I thought we had found some more players than that. Okay, well then we're going to go on to the next thing that we do is then the statistical side of it. So what we want, interested in transfer is going to have to go on. As is interested in loan, we're going to change it to slightly interested, so we get a few more players in the player pool. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Slightly interested. And we want a DLP. So that or that. And D-line playmaker. None. Fantastic. Can we highlight the attributes for the DLP? I'm not going to do 15s because, you know, in this league, your 12s and your 13s are considered decent. And then we're going to look at the DNA. We're going to look at all this nonsense. I think DNA wise, Dulac and Kemen look to be the best two. Olivier Kemen, box to box midfielder. He's quite young as well. Leo Stulak will play DLP, but he's got a gets forward whenever possible trait, which is a bit annoying. He could absolutely play that. If we could get this off him, then he'd be a decent little option. What about Kemen? What's he? Chan. Again, gets forward whenever possible. Ryan Wintle from Crew. Do you fancy it, mate? Gets forward whenever possible. This Joe Afonso, I believe we did have an offer in for him at one point, but we turned him down. I want to say he had some bad. I can't remember why we turned him down. We definitely had an offer in for him at one stage. He tries long range passes. I think he could play it, you know. 120k. One's preferred position and role. He's resolute as well, though, so he'd slot right in. Let's just make the offer. Let's make the offer at 120k. Oh, 125. And there's this guy who I think, 36 years of age, so he's geriatric, that bloke. He's going nowhere near us. Drop it again and just see if there's anyone else. Should we do it by chances created? Should we see if there's anyone on there who's very creative? Max Bauer. Tomislav Gomele. comes deep to get the ball, which is good for a CDM or centre mid on defend. Chances created per 90. Well, he's not completed many 90 minutes. So, however, he's making at least 2 chances per game when he does play. No. Christian de Erso maybe moves into the channels, but he dwells on the ball. We're probably not going to get him that cheap, although he does look good. This guy from Lazio, Seist, the Polish, runs the ball often, isn't what we need really. Hello. 190k. He could definitely play ball winning, which means we could potentially push Mandy further up. Could Mandy play as a deep line playmaker? I haven't even looked into this. Mandy. Really good passing, okay vision. Balance and composure aren't great, but he dwells on the ball a bit. I don't know. Yeah, well, I'm not entirely sure about who who we're going for or where we go for from here. I'm gonna leave the episode there, and I'm gonna do some off-camera stuff, and then I'll show you who we got and the decision in coming round to that. The board tried to block the Jimenez and Alfonso deals, but we discussed the Jimenez one, and he said that's fine. And director of football, as we do, it's meant to be the Monchi thing. This is our director of football. He was Kayan's director of football, who, as you know, are our rivals. He's not the best. He's not the worst. But he he's okay. He's not. He's not amazing, but he's never going to be. He's actually made a contract offer to Egan Alioski from Leeds United, who's out of contract. Alioski's a decent player, really determined. He's resilient. He can play winger. He can play left back. Let's just see how much he fancies, because I'm not against this. 10 grand, you're not getting an appearance fee. That being said, though, this is what would have been agreed. Let's jump you up to 40 and see if you fancy it. He fancies it. Okay, it looks like we might be getting a skin. That's quite a good thing, because if we're playing in Liga next season, he's a Macedonian international who's played Premier League football. If we're in the second division next season, then we've got a player who's far and away better than that level. So that's good work by the DOF. I'm quite glad I managed to catch that on camera, because they don't happen often. Normally they just make deals for really, really crap players or under 18s, and it's really frustrating. But he looks like he's picked a fairly decent free option there. And if that doesn't work out, we can always sell Alioski for decent money, because he's going to be worth a couple of million for the reputation that he's got. Yeah, I'm going to stop it there. As I say, we'll come back in maybe towards the end of the season, just to show you where we ended up and whatnot, and who we decided on signing. It looks as though, why is Mandy not registered? It looks as though we're probably gonna go for Jimenez, Alioski, and Marin. I think, was it Marin? Playing over in Romania. But thanks for that. I know the quality of this one isn't the best I've done. Hopefully the recording's a bit better. I've messed around with the software a bit more. This first season sort of just more about like consolidating and getting to where we need to be. It was similar for the Brentford save as well, where it was just a case of get yourself up and then you can sort of build on it from there. And yeah, that's sort of how we're gonna have to take these series coming in in the future, and then from season 2 onwards, that's when it's all gonna be good, because by the end of this season, we're gonna have a massive pool of players who we can go out and scout. We're gonna have more scouts, etc. But thanks very much for that, guys. Please like the video, please share the video, please give me your criticisms, constructive, whatever. I'm all aboard for that. But until next time, thanks very much and have a good one. See you later.